My name's Chris Mackenzie and I'm in the Department of Microbiology and Molecular Genetics, and I've been here now I think about 28 years. I was actually at a conference in Germany, a photosynthesis conference, and Dr. Samuel Kaplan had just started the microbiology department in Houston. He'd been about to retire from the University of Illinois, and the school here was about to lose its accreditation if it didn't have a microbiology department. So he was starting up a new microbiology department, and I had known him from a number of his papers. And I met him at this conference and he told me he was starting a new department, and I was really interested because he was interested in bacterial genomes at the time and was getting a new DNA sequencing machine called an Applied Biosystems 373, and I thought this would be a great tool for working in early bacterial genomes. So he said he was recruiting people and encouraged me to apply, and I applied and I was hired and I was here within 6 months. Well, Houston's a great city, you know, I really like it as a city, but I think the medical school is really good. The people here are really, really nice. It's a very collegial atmosphere, and I always feel if you can get anything done within the building, people really try and help you out. So I really like that, but I do a lot of teaching, and I think the Office of Education and the Office of Student Affairs have done a really good job of selecting really good students to come to this medical school, and I really like interacting with them. They're young, they're a lot younger than me, and they keep me young. So that's part of the reason why I've stayed. Well, there's several things. I mean, I worked in a number of bacterial genome projects. I did some of these here, and I've done some with the Department of Energy, and we've had these completed, and they're now used by a number of basic scientists around the world. So that's a major accomplishment. But I think probably more interesting is the fact that I've spoken to a few students recently, and they said, "Oh, my mum or my dad, you taught them when they came to medical school, and now they're doctors." So that feels like it's kind of gone full circle, so I consider that a major accomplishment. You know. I do think I had a big influence on the school. I think the school has really influenced me more than I've influenced it. I think I'm not really a physician, so I didn't really have a good feeling of all of the medical conditions that people could suffer from over the course of their life. So actually being part of the faculty that teach medical students has been a great insight as to what can go wrong over the course of someone's life, and it's made me much more grateful for the health that I have. The changes don't look that obvious, but there's really kind of two big physical changes, I would say. One is the fact that the John Freeman building, which was a small annex at the end of the main medical school building, has now gone as a result of Tropical Storm Allison. That has now been replaced with the medical school extension. So that's something you can see from the street. That's a real physical thing. I think the real thing that's been the big change for me, though, are the technological advances, especially through the internet, that have happened over roughly the last 28 years. When I came here, email was a kind of new thing. The internet wasn't up and running. You couldn't download papers. Those early genome projects I worked on, I had a big computer in my office, and in order to assemble those DNA sequences, it took a week, 24 hours a day of computer time in order to assemble those. Now you can do that same assembly in a few seconds on a phone. So that's a massive change. Email's a massive change. Internet browsing's a massive change. So I think electronically that's been the major changes that I've seen. I think my strongest memories really are like the worst things that happened to Houston. That is Tropical Storm Allison, Harvey. I think natural disasters bring out the worst in people, but they also bring out the best. And I think from the medical school's perspective, it's really shone under those kind of natural disasters. And I always say that if I was going to live through a natural disaster anywhere, I would rather live through it in Houston, working at the medical school, than anywhere else on the planet. I really hate to make those kind of predictions. I think you're going to see more and more artificial intelligence and robotics being used in medicine. I think the way that we actually teach students is going to completely change. I think the days of lectures where someone stands up and lectures to medical students are coming to an end. I think there'll be a lot more kind of interactive YouTube style lectures given. I think lecture theatres are going to be a historical artefact. I would say the same probably about libraries. I think those will be the big changes. I think a lot of the changes we're going to see are going to be technological advances, AI, robotics, and just electronic media in general.